This video contains information that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are a viewer and are triggered or shocked by images and need a warning prior to every clip or story being discussed, then please unsubscribe from my channel immediately. My channel covers the harsh reality of even the worst crimes imaginable and is for adults only. For those of you who fit into this category, take this message as your warning and don't watch any further. Yo, no robot. I don't know where the hell the main screen went though. It disappeared. It's wild. I'm gonna have to like load up. I'm gonna have to load up a old show to see what the hell was on that thing. I lost the screen, everything. It's crazy. Wow, it's bizarre. Still have this one. That's absolutely crazy. Man, that's gonna take a while to build that back up again. Well, that's what I'll be doing tomorrow, everybody. Holy crap. I don't remember what our totals were. I'm gonna have to, go over the screen to have to rebuild that whole damn thing. Man, it's just sort of missing. It's gone from my program here. Pretty weird, pretty weird. Huh? Not sure what you guys are talking about. Yeah, like the main screen that I have with all the stuff going on, it's gone. It's gone right now. No idea what happened. But I did get a new driver today for golf, so that was pretty cool. Got sucked into Chad's portal. That's definitely possible. Man, that's just, it's insane. Where in the hell would that have gone? Yep. It's just, wow, it's kind of disheartening. That thing took forever to set up. But I'll get it working. Maybe I'll make a new one or something different. No, there isn't any working backwards until it comes back. There's no undo button in Streamlabs. It's just gone. I got a, let's see, a Callaway Mavic Max regular. I actually went down the regular shaft and 9-degree loft. It seemed pretty good. My swing has always been right on the edge of, I don't have a fast swing. It goes like, But anyways, it was cool to try them out, and I got the one that's a little bit better. So anyways, somebody named Amy asked me a question. I don't know if you guys, it was in one of the comment sections. She said, I've been around for a few months. She didn't spell it right. It should be M-U-N-T-S. But I'm curious as to how you started doing this type of work. I love your channel. I'm really glad to have found it. Just thought I'd see if you could tell us newer people about it all sometime on your live. You're a very generous man, donating to different charities. Great work. Well, thanks. Now I got to go rebuild that screen that had all of our donations on it. But most of you probably know the how. I mean, it is kind of strange. Let me see. Yeah. So here's the thing: is I went to the Art Institute in like 2001 for animation and media arts. So that's why you see some of the stuff you see on the screen here. I'm able to do this kind of stuff because I can, right? And programs haven't changed that much. Like I've used 3D Studio Max. I pay $1,500 a year every single year for 3D Studio Max, and that's where some of your guys' donations go to pay for stuff like that. You know, the actual money that I make, not the donate. You know, well, the donations are part of how I make money, but I use the part that I get for that. Okay. Thanks, Rachel Ann. So let's see. So I went to the Art Institute, and I went there for 2 years, and I was on the dean's list. So I finally gave a shit about school. When I went to regular college, I did get a degree, but I just really didn't care that much at all. But then when I was older, I'm interested in learning stuff like that, and I loved it. I mean, it was crazy. I learned how to sketch even a little bit, and they taught you everything. So anyways, that was like 2001. Then I didn't really use that for a while. Tried starting my own videography company with a friend of mine. That really didn't go that well. And then I think it was like way later. I mean, 2013-ish, maybe 2012, whenever the hell the Jodi Arias trial was. I'd followed other trials. I've always been interested in crime. I used to watch Forensic Files all the time, and American Justice, different shows with Bill Curtis. And then I think it was in 2012, the Jodi Arias case came forward, and then I started thinking, I could actually really produce some stuff nobody else is doing out here. So I modeled the entire upstairs bedroom using diagrams and images, and I made it look really realistic. And then I was able to determine where all the different photographs that were taken in that case were taken, and then we could theorize a hell of a lot better using that information. And I did a whole bunch of videos on that, and then doing those videos on that case, somebody on the internet, an elevator expert, was told about it, and then he called me up and wanted me to work for him on a actual case, an elevator negligence case in New York. And then it turns out then the prosecutor, then I was on his team. The prosecutor called me up, and we just kept working through it. I built this entire recreation of how the elevator scene went. And then they flew me out there. I was supposed to testify, but the judge actually deemed it. They asked the defense, and they said, "Yeah, that's how it happened." So they didn't need me to testify. I kind of wanted to, just so I could say that I did. And so that was my first professional, actually getting paid for doing something. And then Sheila Wysocki, the private investigator, she found out about me somehow, and then I started working with her on the Jonathan Cruz case and a couple other ones, and that was professional too. And just different little things like that. And then I don't know, what was it? Yeah, even before Sheila, though, I was doing videos on the McStay family murders, the whole bunch of different cases. Just tons of them. Putting it out there, but I was never a YouTuber. Like, I didn't really give a shit about subs or anything. What's weird is people don't sub to you unless you ask or something. I mean, I had videos out there that had 500,000 views and had 2,000 subs. Don't you guys find that a little weird? I mean, you'd think 20,000 would have just accidentally subscribed to you. And so I did all those videos, and then probably the highlight, even though the other one was professional, was mainly the elevator accident and the Delphi case were probably the ones that I felt the best on. Because in the Delphi case, early on, like I've told you guys, I made a video of the flow of the crime, I called it. And I made that just 10 days after the murders of Abby and Libby. And what's weird about it is, when I think back to that time, those 10 days seem like 6 months. I mean, it was like, it just took forever. It was just hell with all these trolls online. They just wouldn't believe what I was putting out and all this stuff. So I put that video out, and then on my video, in a comment, Robert Ives said, the prosecutor, I didn't know who he was. He said, hey, I sent you an email. Do you ever check your, he seemed like he was a little bit annoyed that I didn't see my email. And then I checked the email, and he sent me an email, and I didn't really buy it. I was like, oh, I don't know. And he goes, well, you can check it out. So I checked it out, and it really was the prosecutor. I ended up deleting that video because there was an error that I made in it. And then I put out the correction like literally the next day with the same video. So and the thing is, that video was viral. It was doing really well, but I still deleted it because there's an error that was fundamental. Okay, if it was just something like I spelled somebody's name wrong, I wouldn't care as much. Okay, but see, that's where the difference is I don't really give a shit about, like, oh, look at how many views, look at how many views. I mean, it sucks to have to pull that one out, but you just do it because it's not accurate, right? So anyways, I called him up on the phone, Robert Ives, in the Delphi case, and I got a hold of the secretary, and I said, hey, can I speak with Robert Ives? And she said, well, he's busy. And then she said, well, who's this? And I said, my name's Gray Hughes. And then she goes, hold on a second. Okay, yeah, he'll take your, it was, he took my call because I think he was waiting for me to call. And then we talked, and he said that they were very impressed with how I came up with the flow of the crime using publicly available information, and that if they catch the person, they might hire me to create visuals for the trial, but they haven't ever caught him. He's not the prosecutor anymore, but that was kind of a neat moment. It was neat to have that, knowing that that's what that I was told, but I didn't really share that with all the trolls out there that were so relentless every step of the way. Right? And so it was kind of like right during the Delphi cases when I started to become sort of a YouTuber. I think I might have had like 8,000 subs or something like that, maybe at that point. And then I started doing the Kanika Jenkins case a little bit after that, and people started subbing, but I didn't really like it because I was just getting a specific type of sub that only wanted to have videos on that. So then I started to literally say, hey, if you're only here for that, just unsubscribe immediately. Just like my intro says. Because I want people that are into a diversity of cases, right? That's what I'm looking for. And I guess that's what I've just been building the channel ever since, I have channel memberships, and I try to cover as many cases as I can. I stick with some that are, they're continue, there's new information coming out on them all the time, so I'll cover those a little bit longer. But there's so many different crimes out there that nobody's talking about because they're not money makers, right? And I don't want to have to care about shit like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not really. I don't want to be one of the people. Like, for example, I guarantee it right now tonight. Somebody checked in hoping I was going to be covering something on the Rexburg case, and as soon as they didn't see that, they went and did something else because they don't care about any other crime really except that one. Okay. And believe me, there are the Rexburg case is interesting because it's complex and it's wacko, but there's other cases that are just as interesting. They just don't have as many crazy angles going, but they're probably more interesting in terms of an actual crime. This one's just crazy, like crazy people. So, anyways, that's it, man. I'm kind of frustrated that one screen's missing, though. Let me just check to see if I didn't accidentally just move it down. I remember this one. Do you guys remember this one? I'm not in this, but remember this one with... It was a... hold on. It was like I was in there, like a cave. So I still have that. And this is one Carolina T made for me. She painted that, and I made it into a backdrop. You guys remember that one? Okay. Yeah. Let me see if I can get that to work again. Let me see. You guys hear the avalanche right there? That's my wife getting ice cubes. I thought you didn't like ice. Okay. She said she didn't like ice. But here, let me see if I can get this one. Where the heck is it? I just had oh, wow, there it is. Holy crap. Okay, good. I just kept scrolling down, and there's my set, right? Isn't that it? Yep. Oh man. That made me feel better. I thought I was going to lose it all. I don't know how it got way down there, though. I'll tell you that. It was at the bottom of this list of like 20 different... No, he did. He did, idiot. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the other shooting recently. I have a totally different... I think that one's totally different, in my opinion. Not even close. The officers were really nice to the guy. And then it turned out that he was intoxicated. And then he started to fight the cops, grabbed one of their tasers, and turned and fired it. And of course, the bullets hit him in the back because he was turning back with his upper torso, firing, okay? How about this? When an officer tells you to do something, just do it. Now, there's some idiot that was on CNN saying, no, he had to grab it because they would have killed him.
Thanks and we'll catch replay hard.
No, they wouldn't. I'm getting really tired of all... Now everyone's moving the goalpost a little bit further here. They weren't going to be killing him if he didn't fight back, okay? It was a very calm situation. He turned it into a nightmare, okay? And I'm sorry that there's people that actually want to equate that one with George Floyd because they're not even close. They're not even close. Man, you should have seen the person that CNN had on there. They literally said, what the hell did they say? They said, yeah, wow, he had to grab the taser because they're killing people who aren't fighting back. No, well, yes, George Floyd is the one that I've seen, okay? But normally, there's always some kind of confrontation. Somebody's running. I've seen a few more, actually, but that happens. Those are just bad cops. But to make a comparison between the two is insane, okay? Please everybody out there, use your own brains and watch it with logic and reason instead of listening to what these idiots keep telling you over and over and over again. Thank you, Rochelle Black. Yeah, you think that's pretty funny? Yeah. I mean, CNN is ridiculous. Okay, everybody? I wish I could not say that, but yeah, you probably don't want a television. Okay, what were we going to do first here? Oh yeah, let me switch over to... So they did confirm that the body found near Hayesville is Savannah Schneider. Or Schneider, I guess. What's up, Darrell Greggs?
What up, world?
Oh yeah, the Lanya Clark, huh? What was his real name? Or Lanya's his nickname, right? What's his real name? I can't remember now, but it was something a little bit strange. Or maybe that was... Nah, I can't remember. Yeah, they're just not even close. And I think it's ridiculous that they fired the officer, really, in that case. You know, the guy turned and tried to shoot the taser at him. What are you supposed to do? Let him do it? I don't know what happened to that guy. He was totally normal. And then as soon as they started putting the other cuff on him, he just went nuts. You started watching with Clark. Yeah, that's a weird one. Isn't it like Leonard or something like that? That's what his name was, like Leonard. What's that? That sound like it. I think we're good. All right. Anyways, Wichita police have confirmed that a body found near Hayesville has been identified as 23-year-old Savannah Schneider. Officials say a search was looking for her on Saturday when they found her a few miles away from where her cell phone last pinged. Schneider was last seen alive May 31st at her home. Right now, officials aren't confirming her cause of death. Yeah. I think it's starting to look more... I mean, I feel like the possibility of it being a suicide is much greater. I can't remember who it was, but somebody sent me a link of a bunch of screenshots that I can't seem to find all of a sudden of the neighbor and everybody, and they were saying, where were you friends when she'd been so down and out? You know, they were really... Their comments made it seem like she was absolutely alone, stressed out. Apparently, somebody in the comment section said you can lose just a ton of weight when you're stressed out too, so maybe she didn't even have a disorder of any kind. She could have even been eating, but just kept losing weight because she was stressed out. But I think it's very likely that I mean, it's sad actually. Look how sad that is. I mean, she lost both of her parents, her stepdad and mother just recently, within a year, and then her bio dad, I guess, died a while back. And she's all alone. She can't see very well. She's impaired vision. She has impaired vision, and she's not allowed to drive. She probably was relying on a lot of different people. Maybe would get all of her contact on the internet. And it doesn't sound like there were a lot of people for her. You know, I guess we'll have to wait to get the actual information. Somebody in the chat said it's a homicide. Well, it could. I mean, I'm saying it could be, but she got up at 5:30, so maybe she met with foul play after I don't know why she would be leaving her house at 5:09. I mean, okay, let me type in her name and see if there's been an update here. I mean, if it's a homicide, then everything changes. Okay, everything changes. Yeah, I haven't seen anything that says anything about homicide. Like I've looked even right before the show, and yeah, I think it's just somebody that's trying to. Oh no, it's this, and they don't have a clue. Well, you might think it smells like one, Rebecca, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, it's a lot of people want things to be a certain way to make it more interesting. See, for me, it became more of a chance of being a suicidal event when we saw that she'd lost a lot of weight, that there was a lie on the text message. Now, you could either say that was a nefarious actor or it was her. But either way, the text is a lie, right? Everybody's aware of that. The text message is not truthful. So somebody's either trying to who's ever sending it's trying to throw off the mother figure neighbor. Okay, now whether it was her so that she wouldn't be looking for her, because if she had said, no, I'm not going to go, I don't want to go on the walk, just like I don't want to go on the walk, and lied or something like that, well, then she would have had to go by the house, the neighbor would have, and check, and then it would have, there would have been people realizing she was gone sooner. But then she said that she was taking off with somebody, so they didn't expect to see her around. But she had already been gone. Because what if she had said something else like, yeah, I don't feel like going, or I guess she could have just said she's out. I got her, but I don't know. See, that wouldn't work either, because they've got surveillance cameras. Although I don't know if she thought, oh, my neighbor's going to look at the surveillance camera if I said somebody took me out. Yeah, and the whole thing about the phone pinging 2 days later doesn't mean anything. That's just the last ping it got. What about the second to last ping? I bet you that was in the exact same spot. I bet you the ping that it gave out on, I bet you anything that phone continually pinged until it died right where she was found. And there's probably just one cell tower out in that area. I bet you it pinged in that same spot. This is just my theory here. But they're just telling us where the last ping was. They didn't tell us that it pinged over here, and this is where the last one was. It probably just sat there and pinged in the same location. And they said it pinged in that last location on the second. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean she was alive for 2 days. Oh, jeez, Trudy. We're not talking about that right now. Did you see that? Yeah. Thank you, Jody William.
I got hooked on your channel with your coverage of Prisma Reyes case.
Yeah.
Such good work.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yep, that's for sure. No updates. Yeah. Yeah, she was already gone. So just think about it for a minute. When the police say, oh, her phone pinged in that location on June 2nd, that doesn't mean that she was still alive at that time. That just means that's when the last ping was. Where did the phone ping on June 1st? Was it the same exact cell tower and everything? Same azimuth off of the tower, So that's all I'm saying. Now, it could mean something else. I'm just going by what I think it means. And I could totally be wrong. And if it's wrong, I'll quickly say, yep, I was wrong, and keep moving forward, because it's the facts in the case that lead you to a better speculation. Yeah. It's just such a weird thing to get up at 5, you know. I mean, she must have been up at 4 calling, or maybe the night before she got it, but 5:09, you know, trying to get a ride. Somebody picks her up. She gets in the car, and it does appear that it was a ride because she got in on the driver's side, and she can't drive, so it's going to be the passenger driver side door. And she got into there, and then the van drives away. But where was she going? I think it'd be great to know exactly where she was dropped off. And that would have been pretty interesting. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what they're, you know, Jamie, what they're, you know, you can go there and ask their opinions, but if they don't know her, their opinion's no better than anybody else. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, if they know who she is, then cool. But we can do the same thing they're doing. It was interesting seeing the those messages. I don't remember who. Does anybody remember? Well, not. That's a dumb question. The person who sent me the email that had a couple screenshots. Are you watching right now? And then if you are, can you resend that email and maybe we can read those messages? That just shows you how many emails I get. Oh, come on, Jay. Jesus. Okay, yeah, thanks. Can you send that again? Well, maybe I can look that up really quick. Yeah, she got up at 5:09 to go get a Happy Meal at McDonald's. Wow.
Gosh, Gray, you're so mean. It was just an idea. Maybe she was just hungry at 5:09.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm sure she has something in her refrigerator. Let's see. Yeah, you'll have to send it again. I can't find it. You sent it today, though, right? Yeah, can you send it again? It had like 6 or 7 screenshots. I could not find it. Yeah, they're pretty good, but I wouldn't get up at 5:09 to call an Uber to go get a McDonald's. I don't think Jay would either. Oh, okay. Well, we don't know. Aliens weren't there either, Jay. We're just not sure at this point. No, that's not the one. Somebody sent me one that had images, screenshots of text messages, or a conversation. That's who I'm looking for. Whoever sent me those. Let me see if I can find it a different way. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, she forwarded, that was the message from earlier in the day. Okay, so here we go. So this one says, with the death of her stepfather and mother all within the last year, leaving her with no relatives or close friends or ties, she suffered from what might be best described as a psychotic break. Thank you, Chrissy Paradis.
Preemptive mean jail bail.
Is that coming? Is that what you're saying? My wife and I are pretty close to the situation. It's not my place to go into specifics of her medical diagnosis, but let's just say she's not the Savannah people most likely once knew as of late. It's more than fair to say she's intellectually challenged at this current time. With the death of her, and then that one said exactly the same thing. I don't know why that was in there twice like that. Having emotional issues or struggling with depression, bottom line, she's probably has emotional issues. Let us call it like probably is PTSD. I just hope that they find her alive, and as well as, see, this is from a few days ago, but Robert, let's see, Robert, we know Savannah extremely well and are tied closely to what's happening and what's been happening since the loss of her family. For caption's sake, that was the right verbiage to use given the circumstance. I'd like to reiterate, if you know her, she's not the person you once knew since the loss of her mother. A lot of mental illness rears its head in someone's early 20s over oftentimes triggered by tragic events. Thanks for your input, but we know what we're doing and the verbiage is correct. Please find her. Okay, let me just. I don't know why you would do that, Brittany. Were you at the funeral? Have you been helping with this? Did Savannah stay with you for the weeks? Have you... This is where people are trying to like, hey, I'm more important than you. I'm just reading you some of the comments people are saying. Have you been driving her around endlessly? Do you have a front row seat to this tragic show? We are deeply involved with her, and I've never even heard your name. Stat in your lane, or stay in your lane is what they meant. People can and often do suffer psychotic breaks as a result of traumatic events, rendering them unable to care for themselves accordingly. Intellectual disability was absolutely the heading that needed to be used given the current circumstance. Try maybe... Yeah, so this person's having to deal with the triggered types. If you didn't say it the way they wanted you to, they have to bust your balls for it. Okay, that's exactly how it goes. All right, so listen to this. This is Anthony Shields here. Now, I think now we sort of know who they are. Watch. My wife and I are the ones that called Savannah in as a missing person. So are these those neighbors? The motherly figure neighbor? I'm just going to be blunt to some of the people leaving comments here. We know her and the situation well, and to those of you claiming to be friends and sisters, where have you been? Since the loss of her stepfather and mother, this girl has had no one. No one. She's nothing short of pleaded for attention on a daily basis on social media. Where were you then? There's some people in these comments even going so far as to decide to involve themselves, calling the officer in charge and changing around the details of the case. People that aren't involved with her at all. I actually like what this person's saying right here. Because this is exactly right. You know, you get so many people. See, that's the whole thing with the case that we were covering with the girl that ran away from her mom. You get all these people that just want to just think that they're sort of bigger than the story and want to be really cool and neat. Yeah, it just drives me crazy. It's worth mentioning that Savannah you once knew is not the Savannah we are dealing with today. with the tragic loss of her family in this last year, she has what can best be described as suffered a psychotic break. She is unable to care for herself appropriately. The heading intellectual disability has seemingly been cause for controversy here in the comments. Either you don't know Savannah or have not spent time with her recently. If you aren't crystal clear on that observation, Savannah is not well, unstable, and completely vulnerable. We all want her back safely. We're ticking up on a week now with no contact. Her phone and credit cards have not been used. We welcome and want your help if you're offering, so. Let's see. We want your help. What is it? We want her back. We welcome and want your help. If you're offering anything other than that, please just keep it to yourself. Now is not the time. Yeah, so there you go. So thank you for sending that, Tisha. I mean, when you read that, what do you guys think now? Okay, so as soon as you read that, it's like, oh, wow. So now it's still possible, even given that in her vulnerable state, when she went out to get the McDonald's food that Jay was, I'm just kidding, Jay. Yeah, like she went somewhere and that person took advantage of her vulnerable state, okay? I don't have that feeling. I feel like, if anybody, the stuff that happened to her, it's almost unreal. To have both parents die in a year and then another one not too long before that. And then you're visually impaired. You're all alone, and there isn't really all these friends that are trying to make you feel good. And it just feels like, maybe it's possible that she walked out to the railroad tracks, waited for a train. I actually tried to look up the times the trains were driving there, and they cut it off. It's just per day. They don't let you go back in time. Now, there's probably a site that actually has that. But that comment that person wrote, just keep that in your mind sometimes. Like when you're following cases, there's a lot of people out there that when they follow it, they want to be really important and neato. And then they start creating problems, and they actually lose sight of what the goal is, right? Because the goal is to find the person or help provide clarity to information. We're not related to the person that's missing almost every single time. So it's just so weird when people do that. It's kind of scary. Thank you, Kit Kat. It's not really. Is it making the music? I haven't even heard it yet. Freak, cat eye, freak, cat eye, freak, cat eye. So it's not doing the, that's kind of weird. Should be. Oh, maybe it's because it's not on the screen. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's right there. What are you talking about? No, there is music. I didn't ask if there, there's music. It's just really quiet. Can you hear it now? Yeah, we always get the long delay with the donations like that. It's always been that way. Okay, so maybe we'll just wait and see. We're waiting if they come with a different report. I'd be shocked actually if they say that it's a homicide. And if it is, then that changes everything at that point. Then it's a really crazy story at that point. Because then you start wondering, well, gosh, where did the Uber driver take her? What was the reasoning she was taking there? You know, we're not going to know that part yet. Okay. So here we go. Let's do the Madeleine McCann update here. This one's from today, Daily Mail. It says Madeleine McCann's parents are told by a letter that she is dead. German prosecutors tell missing girl's parents their suspect killed the 3-year-old but won't disclose their concrete evidence. I mean, that's a little interesting. That's a little bit more than what's been going on before, right? Yeah, it's okay, Jay. You've been around, so you don't. I know that you're not. Take it personal. I can't stay woke because I've never been. Well, here's what I'm woke about. I'm woke about the phrase woke being total bullshit. Okay? There you go. Couldn't who have picked up the phone? I don't know what you mean.
I don't take it personal. I have a sarcastic personality. So if I could give it back to you without getting banned, I would. Tears of joy, hearts stay woke, grey skull, tears of joy.
Well, you probably wouldn't get banned if you gave it back, but it would have to make sense. Okay? Right? Because what you just said up above about, oh yeah, maybe she went out to get something to eat with an Uber drive at 5:09 in the morning. And then when I challenged you on that, you said, well, how do we know she didn't stay up all night and then need something to eat? Yeah, oh God. Well, that's when you start going, well, maybe aliens did it. Yeah, she could have been up all night. Yep. I really doubt that she left to get something to eat. Okay, here we go. German prosecutors have written Madeleine McCann's parents to tell them she is dead. I mean, I think that's a step forward than anything we've heard before. They refused to disclose how they knew, insisting that any further information could jeopardize the inquiry. So the fact that they actually said that means something. Don't you think? Yeah, that's pretty weird. I've only had 4 hours of sleep and I'm still woke. That's right, you are still woke. But yes, I gotta admit those McGriddles, they're pretty good. I mean, who the hell doesn't like one of those McGriddles from McDonald's? Because what I do whenever I get sausage, I pour syrup on a plate and I eat it with that.
I've only had 4 hours sleep and am still woke, eyes tears of joy.
Hey, listen, if you've never tried it, when you're eating sausage, put some syrup on the plate and dip it into that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's as good a McGriddle as that, but I think they're pretty good. Thanks, Miss Gus. What I like to do is get the sausage biscuit, and then I get syrup, and I just keep dipping it in and eat that. That's so much better than the actual McGriddle, okay? Try that next time. Get 2 sausage biscuits for like $2, and then get the syrup on the side and then dip that in there. Or do the sausage McMuffin with the sausage biscuit with egg and do the same thing. That's good too. No, you're missing out, Kubachek. You're missing out. Yeah, that sounds terrible, Cairo. Let's see. Always jumps in with the vegan option. That's right, yeah, you put the little syrup on there. Good stuff.
McFreak.
Yeah, let's eat carbs with carbs. Hot cake, yeah, that's pretty good. Just the regular meal there, that's not bad. Yeah. So what did you guys think of this, though? This McCann story that came out? Don't you think that that's a little bit more suggestive of that they really do have the right guy? Why would the prosecutors write him a letter like that? What does that mean, Tish? I already did it. It says German prosecutors have written to Madeleine McCann's parents to tell them that Madeleine is dead. They refuse to disclose how they knew, insisting that any further information could jeopardize the inquiry into suspect Christian Bruckner. Hans Christian Wolters, who is leading the case, yesterday said he could not share key evidence with Scotland Yard officers or police in Portugal. I sympathize with the parents, but if we reveal more details to them, it might jeopardize the investigation, he said. We have concrete evidence that our suspect has killed Madeleine, and this means she's dead. The parents have been told the German police have evidence that she is dead, but we have not told them the details. He said that Kate and Jerry McCann, whose 3-year-old daughter vanished on an Algarve holiday in 2007, had not responded to the letter. We are, of course, really we, of course, really consider the fact that it is going to be very hard for the family when we tell them what we assume Madeleine is dead, he added. So you just think this is all made up because you want to keep the story going along? I see. So that's what I always think is crazy, you know? It's like you got these people that have been following the case and they want it to keep going. So any kind of thing that comes out that explains that they might be onto the actual killer, you're not going to believe because you don't want to believe it. It's crazy. Okay, well, you guys, I'm glad that I'm not as deep into it as you guys are, so I can actually read something like this, although it is Daily Mail. It sounds like a real thing that happened now. I'll just go ahead and think, wow, hopefully they're onto something here. And I won't have to spend hours trying to disprove what this is saying. This is a murder case, not a missing persons case. We have been quite clear throughout. We are investigating a murder, and we have the evidence for that. We can understand the pain of the parents. See, right there they said we have the evidence for that. Doesn't that mean anything to you guys? I mean, they're just lying? Like, I mean, I guess we do have, there are prosecutors out there, like, as we've seen, like the Innocence Project that, oh yeah, we got him nailed, and they're full of shit, right? So there's always that possibility. I actually hope that these people, the German authorities, are actually onto something there. And I hope that the parents are vindicated. Of course, a lot of the wackos out there will still blame them for leaving them in the hotel room. You know, because they just won't be able to let it go and be ashamed that they've always accused the parents for all those years. they'll have to then say, well, it's still their fault because they... You watch it. $100. I mean, tell you what. I would bet $1,000 that that'll be the new narrative for all the people. Well, I don't have anybody to bet, but it's ridiculous. Good night, Richard Watts. Have a good evening. Because there's a lot of psychos out there, Richard. What do you mean? There's pedophiles out there that do that all the time. They kidnap a kid and they end up being dead. Yeah, it has nothing to do with them, Madeleine pissing anybody off. Yeah, well, there you go, Robin. So I'm feeling pretty good. Who knows? It'd be great when if they ever have a trial and it's absolutely proven. Of course, if it isn't proven to every single tiny extent, the naysayers will pounce on that, for they're in. They don't have the death penalty over there, so. Let's see. In Germany, we are very reserved. I'm not sure how it is in the UK. We keep everything to ourselves until we press charges. Rogério Alves, a lawyer who represents the McCanns in Portugal, has been putting pressure on German investigators to reveal what evidence they have and demanded to know what is being done to solve the case. He accused the 3 police forces involved in the probe of keeping information for themselves and called on them to be more transparent toward the family. Mr. Alves is hoping Portuguese detectives will tell him what evidence they have to support the reopening of the file here. He said, I want to find out if there are new leads for them to chase. I want to know what is being done. I intend to get answers on these matters this week. I don't know how strong the new evidence is, so I don't know what the Portuguese prosecutor is going to do. I don't know. You know what's kind of lame is how they're just all bickering and battling back and forth. You know, the Germans, the UK, and Portuguese. It's crazy. Well, that's in your own mind, Sumo Solo, whatever the hell your name is. That's in your own mind right there. That's how you interpret it. That's how, whenever you read articles, that's how you're always going to see it. And if somebody else, an expert says that, of course, that's what the truth is to you. Okay? Man, I just can't wait. I cannot wait until they come forward and, yeah, the dogs, you know. Dogs aren't always accurate. I know that they're talking about the dogs. We've heard that. I just can't wait. I want this to be solved 100%. And then I'm just going to love it when it doesn't match what everybody wanted it to be. Because they don't, nobody, here's the truth is, very few people following this really go with what the evidence is. They go with what they thought it was, and then they look at the evidence, and if it fits what they thought, then, oh, they love it. If it doesn't match it, then they toss it aside. It's not to be considered anymore. And that's called confirmation bias. Tunnel vision. All right. So anyways, that's the update on that. And then we've got the Golden State Killer suspect D'Angelo could plead guilty, avoid the death penalty. So I guess now it's could plead guilty. Lawyers in the Golden State Killer believe they have reached, in that case, believe they have reached a deal under which suspect Joseph James D'Angelo Jr. Wow, I've heard a couple of YouTubers think that maybe he was innocent. You know, they were going to try to pay for a lawyer to help him out and everything. You know? Well, it was really just an Alford plea. He realized the evidence was so great against him, although he doesn't admit doing it. It's, bullshit. Under which suspect Joseph James D'Angelo Jr. will plead guilty to 88 murder, rape, and other charges at a June 29th hearing and avoid a death penalty trial with a life sentence imposed instead. Yeah, he doesn't, I'm not sure why he's doing that. This guy, he doesn't look like he's got another week. Look at that guy.
You leave the next.
Ladies and gentlemen, please come to order. Department is now in session.
Wow, for once a video's too loud.
All right, first matter will be on the 135 calendar, page 5, D'Angelo.
Thank you. This is case 18FE008017. Mr. D'Angelo is present in custody. The attorney state their names for record, starting with the defense, please.
It's like 11 or 12 murders and all the rest are rapes. But yeah, I mean, he's going to die in prison even before he would have been executed. So what difference does it make?
Request for Mr. D'Angelo.
Diane Howard on behalf of Mr. D'Angelo.
Alice Sniper on behalf of Mr. D'Angelo.
For the people.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Tin Hull on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Boy, he looks a hell of a lot different now, doesn't he?
Good morning, or good afternoon, Your Honor. David Elvis is on behalf.
Thank you. My understanding this matter is going to continue. I believe the next selected date is January 22nd, 1:35, back in this department.
That is our request. We would again renew our motion in electronic media.
What do you mean, who is this guy? It's Joseph D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer.
All right, thank you. The viewer, anything else from the people?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll see y'all back here January 22nd, 1:35, back in this department.
Thank you.
He looks a lot like Schmiegel. Wouldn't he? I mean, look. You can't see a little resemblance right there? Resemblance? Oh! Oh! Yeah. I think it looked exactly the same. Okay, so basically that's it. They're just trying to cut a deal, and I think it makes sense. You know how long that would take? It would just cost the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars, and it would just take forever, and the details are already out there. You know, maybe they can get him to confess and write down stuff, and then they can publish that so people can read more in detail. But he would die way before he ever would have got the death penalty. They don't even have it, really. I mean, they have the death penalty in California, but they don't use it. It's just completely not used. So why not do it this way? Yeah, he doesn't look too good. Okay, I thought I talked about this case one night a while ago, but let's take a look at it.
Developing news here at 5 o'clock. The search continues for a local social worker from Children's Mercy Hospital. 39-year-old Marina Bischoff was last seen leaving KCMO Shoal Creek Police Station on May 27th. She became an official missing person on June the 6th. Our Abigail James spent the day with a search crew, and she's live now with an update. Abigail.
was seen. So a lot of people, the whole search party was out here searching through this entire wooded area out here. Now wooded area.
What does that say? Let me get that part again.
Because this was the last place where this case. Now, the reason why they were searching out here, we're out here at the Shoal Creek Patrol Division, is because this was the last place where.
Yeah, so if you look at the map, it's right here. I think they're. Okay, so now I know exactly where that was. I found this earlier. So, wait, let's see. What angle is she looking at it? I'm just looking at it from a different side over here. Huh. Thought that was the right building. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong spot. Jeez. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Now that makes sense. Yeah, there we go. Right there. Okay, so that's basically the same spot, just a little bit more down, like this. Okay.
Marina Bischoff was seen. So a lot of people, the whole search party was out here searching through this entire wooded area.
This is a woman named Marina Bischoff, 39 years old. She worked at a, like a, what do you call it, social worker, as a social worker. But it looks like she was drinking, and it's very similar. It immediately reminded me of Matrice Richards. The case where, because she goes to the police station, and she's let out at night, and then she disappears. And she was acting strangely. I mean, the similarities between the two are pretty shocking.
Area out here. Now we actually just got word from those who have been searching out here all day that Marina Bischoff's keys.
So apparently they were looking right in these woods here, even though it's a different time of year, but right there.
And phone has been found. Now that is key, because having something like that means that police can go through and see who were the last people Bischoff had communicated with. And right now, because there are so many details surrounding this that are a little shaky, it hopefully will help police out.
Her car was right here. Her bumper was like right here.
Police say on the evening of Wednesday, May 27th, Marina Bischoff had been here. Police say on the evening.
86 and Mersington. Okay. Oh yeah, that was definitely a street view, so you have it. Okay. No, I don't want terrace. 86th.
Evening of Wednesday, May 27th.
These look kind of like the right. What does that mean? Emily's still around. Yeah, she was arrested. I'm trying to find where this address is. Because this is Mersington. That looks mildly right. Let me go back here. Let me rewind it. I gotta check this out.
Right here.
Police say because there are so many details surrounding this that are a little shaky, it hopefully will help police out.
Her car was right here. Her bumper was like right here.
Police say on the evening of...
So that, oh yeah, it's 86 Terrace. That is where I was. Okay, I thought it said 86. I didn't see the terrace. So that's right here. Hey, thanks, Kit Kat. Pumpkin time. Oh, you mean you gotta go to bed? It's midnight? Okay, 86 Terrace. They have it on the top, though. See, this street view's from 2019. They wouldn't have changed it that fast, would they?
Pumpkin time for me. Love ya grey and freaks.
Yeah, usually the sign wouldn't have changed that fast. That's why I don't like when they... That's 87th Street. And then that terrace is right here, but what, did they change the sign that fast?
Wednesday, May 27th, Marina...
Yeah, that's the right, that's the street there. Yep, the curved sidewalk, and then, see, that's right there. That house right there is this one down there. So, they just, I guess they changed the sign in that little bit of time.
Marina Bischoff had been in a car accident. She was charged with a DUI and spent the night at KCMO's Shoal Creek Station.
It just seemed like something else was wrong.
Though Yolanda...
Okay, let me see if I can do this quicker by being up in the air. Are they all double? There's none of those. None of those. So it could just be one of these right here. Well, these all looked exactly the same, but let me see if I can find something. I think it might be that one right there, but let me just check. Yeah, see how they all have the two, they're all really almost identical. But she has a white. See, I'm looking at that. She's got white siding up on there. So I think it's probably this one. Let's see. No, the downspout's not there. So see how that goes down like right there? So it's not that one. So it could just be this very next one here. Thanks, Zozo. Yeah, this is it. This is it right here. And we know this because see the pattern of this? See how the dripping right here? Can you guys see that at all? The dripping, and then it gets longer right there. And then there's shorter dripping. And as a matter of fact, I mean, look at this. It's absolutely exactly the same. Can you see that? This and that has that longer one, and then there's this one that turns in, and that one that's right there. See that? So we've got the right one. Dun, 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 dun. So this is where her car crashed. So apparently her car, she thinks she wasn't even intoxicated, that she intentionally drove the car in there.
Armendariz, whose yard Bischoff's car ended up in, says it appeared to be more of reckless driving.
There was tire marks that probably went through like the 3 yards here.
Before getting back in her car to then be stopped by police across the street, Armendariz spoke with Bischoff face to face. She says the social...
See you later, Stephanie. Was there something you needed me to see or something?
worker appeared disoriented.
She just said she was trying to get home, that she was lost.
Ben says it appeared to be more of reckless driving.
There was tire marks that probably went through like the 3 yards here.
Before getting back in her car to then be stopped by police across the street, Armendariz spoke with Bischoff face to face. She says the social worker appeared disoriented.
She just said she was trying to get home, that she was lost.
Armendariz feels she was already disoriented before the social worker drove into her yard.
Something more than I had a couple bottles of wine. Where did you do that? Did you do that at someone's house here in the neighborhood? Because you surely didn't drive from your house to over here that way.
Bischoff's co-worker Becca Eck was at today's search. She says she's known to be quiet and an introvert.
The sweetest, most soft-spoken person. She's always super helpful and really deeply cares about and is compassionate towards her patient.
I want to point out that when I show this photograph here, it's going to be the one on this side that we're mostly focusing on. This is her latest photo.
Private investigator John Underhill says with hazy details, they're trying to do what they can to find any evidence that'll lead to the missing social worker.
She left the police department from the lobby area, went out to the lot, stayed out there for a while, and then she walked.
Yeah, and the thing is she made phone calls too. So it's the same, very similar to Matrice, right? So she's in here, she was in there, and it was late at night. She was let out to the parking lot, and then she's never been seen again. That's pretty bizarre to have something so similar to Matrice Richardson. Thank you, Allison R.
Now, Bischoff doesn't have any family in the area. Her parents live in Brazil. She does have some family that resides in Texas. Now, loved ones say that Marina suffers from depression and has been very down in recent months due to fears of COVID-19. Reporting live, Abigail James, KCTV5 News.
Yeah. Well, if you think that one's weird, look up the Matrice Richardson one. I've made a couple videos on it. You can go back and watch them.
Right now at 5, growing
in California. Hers was crazy though. They actually found her body way up in the mountains in a ravine, kind of. And so after they found her body, they just did some really shoddy work. They didn't really investigate how she was found. They just kind of picked her up and flew her away. And then the family went out there, Matrice Richardson's parents went out there to do like a memorial type thing. And when they're sitting there on the ground, they found one of her fingers. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous police, you know, your crime scene people, whatever the hell you want to call it. Make sure that you get all the body parts right there. Okay, you maybe bring a cadaver dog up there and make sure you get everything. Yeah, in that case, she was at a restaurant, acting strangely. The people, she just randomly sat with some people at a table. They bought her food, but or at least she ordered, and then she didn't pay. Then the police came, and they just thought she was having some kind of mental deal. So they drove her to the police station, and I think they even called the mother at one point, and then they just let her go at some time way late at night. And there's some people that saw her walking up through the hills, and then she died. Yeah, she didn't say that. Let's see. What do we got? Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Yeah, it was Malibu one. Well, maybe she did. Maybe it was in a podcast somewhere. But it sure as hell wasn't in any of the articles we were talking about. Avenging the death of Michael Jackson. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she was just kind of in there. They didn't know that they were going to be buying her food, but said they would. But it's still, I mean, who cares? The issue is when she was taken to the police station, that they just let her out. I think she needed to be under some sort of supervision. Okay, there was nothing wrong with the police interaction taking her to the station. There was something wrong with her that night, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. Where the problem is everything after that. Every single thing that happened after she got to the police station was just ludicrous. I mean, the mother would have easily gone out there and picked her up. And then everything. The way they took the body out of the canyon, not even doing a thorough job there. It's just really, really ridiculous police work there. Yeah. So that's kind of weird how this one has that similar vibe, right? So again, there's a woman that's acting totally irrationally, driving around, goes through these, I guess apparently her car went flying through the yard here and crashed into the rails to this house here. And the police took her to the station over here. Right here. And she goes in there, and then she makes some phone calls, and eventually she's let go late at night, and she just walks out the door and disappears. Yeah, because Matrice wasn't found for quite a while. No, police do care. You know, there's a small percentage that don't care. Yeah. Every once in a while, you just get that perfect storm with the one idiot cop that doesn't care, and there you go. Yeah, I know, a lot of people think the cops are involved, yeah. Everyone always thinks that. I get so tired of that. Yes, it does happen, but it's so rare. But the way it's every single case, hey, the police are involved. They're in part of a cover-up. Ew, they're doing this and that. It's like, well, wow, every single case now? Well, that was I don't give them an out for how they handled any of that stuff after she was at the police station. I'm talking about when you say they don't care, I don't really, I don't buy that. I think they just dropped the ball in all kinds of different ways. And it just feels like, remember, what was it? It was something about the medical examiner. He wasn't allowed to go to the scene. And they just sort of picked up the body parts, put them in a bag, and flew them to the medical examiner when he needed to be out there to see sort of what the situation was, right? So you had that. And then they left body parts up there. And then they let her out of jail way late at night, knowing she had absolutely no way of getting anywhere. She didn't have a car. Okay, let me get to the, I was going to do another thing here. Might be a short night. So we'll just keep following this one, see what happens. But she's been missing for a little bit here. Well, let's see a couple more of these. Authorities are looking for a woman who was last seen leaving Kansas City Police Station more than 2 weeks ago. A station. Police said 39-year-old Marina Bischoff hasn't been seen since the morning of May 28th. So she's been gone a long time. Police said Bischoff had been arrested the night before on suspicion of driving while impaired and leaving the scene of the crash. Police said she made multiple phone calls while in detention and didn't appear impaired when she left the station. Police have conducted extensive searches of wooded areas and waterways with volunteers, drones, and dogs. On Friday, police said detectives also have been investigating Bischoff's prior contacts. I think they said that they found her phone.
Developing news here at 5 o'clock.
Where Marina Shoal Creek put today was the second organized.
With an update. Abigail.
Ellen, yeah, well, today was the second organized search, and it was led by the private investigator on this case. Now, the reason why they were searching out we're out here at the Shoal Creek Patrol Division, is because this was the last place where Marina Bischoff was seen. So a lot of people, the whole search party was out here searching through this entire wooded area out here. Now, we actually just got word from those who have been searching out here all day that Marina Bischoff's keys and phone has been found. Now
so her keys and phone have been found, but where did they find the phone? The keys and the phone. In the woods? I mean, that would be really ominous if her keys and phone were found in the woods.
that is key, because having something like that means that police can go through and...
That's great. But why didn't you tell us where they were found? Okay, maybe there's another article that has that. Let's see. No, it doesn't even mention it.
Tonight, a family is desperate for help after a 39-year-old social worker went missing. They are hopeful you'll take a look at her picture and help find her.
I hope to be able to find my sister.
Marina Bischoff hasn't been seen in nearly 10 days. Bischoff, a social worker at Children's Mercy Hospital, disappeared back on May 28th. What led up to her disappearance is a bit hazy.
Yeah, there's 457 in chat. It must not be an interesting night, though.
She'd been in a car crash and spent the night at Kansas City, Missouri's Shoal Creek station. Her brother says Marina called 3 people to come get her, but ended up walking out of the police station on her own late at night in the rain.
The police station does have video of her. She was very disoriented in the police station itself, in the parking lot. Then she walked out towards the street where they no longer have any video of her any longer.
What makes her disappearance so troubling for her family is that Marina suffers from depression and had been very down in recent days. They say it was due to fears of COVID-19. They say even her text messages carried a sad tone.
She was not as cheerful as she usually is, and just very down in general regarding COVID.
Maybe it's a similar...
Family and friends passed out flyers near her Northland apartment and near the area where she'd crashed days before, hoping someone somewhere had seen her. Loved ones say Marina is quiet and introvert, but not when it comes to her job helping children. They say she uses her own depression to better understand what her young clients are going through. Victor and Marina's parents still live in Brazil and are unable to travel due to being high risk for COVID-19 complications. Tonight, they're all waiting and watching for any sign of Marina.
And we reached out to Kansas City Police today to get some clarification on Marina's case. And we were told that's being handled by the Missing Persons Unit, and any information they have right now can be found on the flyer we've shown you. If you've seen her or you think you see her, call the TIPS hotline or 911.
Yeah. You know, it's weird. She looks like an actress or something. There's an actress that looks just like this. I don't know which one it is. I can't remember. But she looked almost identical to that. At first, I kept thinking she looked familiar, but pretty sure it's an actress.
Developing news here at 5 o'clock.
Okay, that was the other one. All right, well, I guess that's where we're at with that case. And what else we got here? How long have I been on here? Hour and 22 minutes, okay. Okay, there was a cold case solved today. And it was from a long time ago, 1991. But there's sort of this interesting stuff in the paper. So we know who the killer is now, but they finally identified the killer and the victim. So it says right down in here in this article from 1987, I think this is the same guy. Robert Lynn Bradley, 26, of 1101 Sycamore 1B, was booked into Orange County Jail on charges of possession of a controlled substance, 2 counts of assault and battery, resisting arrest, and destroying a place of confinement. Police claimed the suspect hit his girlfriend, Andrea Ellen Savage, several times in the nose, and then attacked Savage's roommate, Mary Lee Rugen, when she intervened. So obviously somebody that doesn't care if you're a female or not. Rugen told police that after being choked and thrown against the wall, she escaped through bedroom window and went to a neighbor to call for help. Police officers captured Bradley after a short foot chase while in the police car. Bradley reportedly began banging his head. God, this is crazy. Thanks, Carolina T. Appreciate it. Still gotta keep going. Gotta build up for the end of the month contributions. The slow nights always make me nervous. Like, oh crap, we were on a roll. We were gonna be able, and then it's like, oh.
Thanks for all you do, Gray.
But I always associate that with what I'm putting out, It's weird. Thank you. The writer says, police officers captured Bradley after a short foot chase. While in the police car, Bradley reportedly began banging his head against the window and then kicked out the window. Patrol officer David Gora sprayed Bradley with chemical tear gas to subdue him. I guess now it would be called just tear gas. Hey, thanks, Lori. Yeah, so that was 1987. Okay, so that's just keep that guy's name in your mind, Robert Lynn Bradley. I think it's the same guy. The age is exactly right. It's an area that he lived in. This is in. Yeah, you know, the thing is, I can't tell you for 100% certain that that's him here. I know that I do have a reference to him later. But I mean, how many Robert Lynn Bradleys are there that are exactly a certain age that are criminals? I don't know. It's just. Thank you, Lori H. Okay, now we're just looking at this article here.
Great show, grin.
Police are trying to identify a woman whose body was found by campers Friday in the Lower Keys. The sheriff's office released no details of the death, but classified it as foul play. Sheriff spokesman Becky Herron said it appeared the woman had been dead less than a day when she was found, so she wouldn't be that decomposed. The body was found at 8:15 a.m. in an area west Summerlin Key known as the Horseshoe Boat Ramp, just south of Bahia Honda Channel Bridge. Yeah, so it's right around in this area, right here. That's the bridge right there, and it was next to mile marker 35. You know, I'm kind of wondering if this is the horseshoe thing that they're talking about. I don't really know. There's apparently a boat ramp that's a horseshoe. That's a cell tower right there. You know, if you're ever on Google Earth and you're just looking around, you can see the cell tower by the shadows that they make. See that right there? So somewhere on this little island here, I'm kind of thinking it's this one. Let's see. If we go back in time. So it looks real similar back then, but it looks a little bit more like maybe that's the horseshoe boat ramp. I don't know. Okay. The body was found at 8:15 a.m. in an area of West Summerlin Key. Let's see. The horseshoe is a road that leads into the water on the bay side of the island. Okay, the bay side. So I think that... Is that right? Yeah, that's the bay, right? I mean, this is all water right here. So I'm pretty sure... You know, I'm just going to have to guess that that's it right there. And it's commonly used for fishing and illegal overnight camping. The road is the remnant of a former rock quarry. That makes more sense now. Watch this. And that's what the, see that? It's really deep right there because they probably dug deep, and that's what the quarry was. And now it's filled with water. See how they actually opened it up for the water to come in, and then also now it can be used to put your boats in there. So I feel even more sure that that's the right spot. I was wondering why there was a deep hole there. Here's one of the parts that's a little bit weird, is it says the woman was described as being around 30, 5 feet 6 inches tall, 150 pounds, with collar-length black hair. She apparently died on Valentine's Day, and she became known as the Valentine's Jane Doe. Valentine's Day Jane Doe. Had a red tattoo on her left shoulder with the word love inside. Heron said the woman was wearing blue shorts, a long-sleeve dark purple sweater with horizontal red stripes, and black ankle-high suede moccasins. Heron would not say whether the clothes were on the body when it was found. She also declined comment on whether the woman had been attacked or whether any injuries were apparent. Okay, now we're going to go back a year later, 1992. In an unrelated shooting, a man found dead in a ditch in northern Tarrant County on Saturday morning had been shot multiple times in the head, officials said today. Robert Lynn Bradley, 31, was found by 3 passerby about 8 a.m. lying in a ditch in the 2600 block of TJT Oddington Road in Westlake, Ottinger Road, about a half-mile south of Denton Tarrant County line, officials said. Officials estimate he had been killed sometime Friday night or early Saturday. Bradley's last known address was only a mile or two from where his body was found. No arrests have been made this morning. And I found no other information about him in the newspaper. This is all the way over in Texas. But Texas, isn't far away from that area in Florida. It's not close, but it's right there. Thank you, Jessica Schubach. And this is mildly interesting here, is his body was found right in this area. I think it was the...
Love when you do Google Earth. Open mouth smile.
Thanks, Streamlabs, for letting me know that it was an open mouth smile. Yeah, so it was the 2600 block, and it puts a pin about right there, and I was like, what? That's weird. But then watch this. 1995, the road goes like this now. And 1995, this is what it looked like. There was nothing there at all. It was just, trees and whatnot. And the road came in a little bit further. And then watch what it does. So I'm going to keep it there, and then boom. See that? Totally different. So the body was found when it used to look like this, somewhere right around in this area. And that's the body of Robert Lynn Bradley. Yeah. Now, here's the thing: is she's been identified. Wanda Deanne Kirkham. Okay, Wanda was found dead in a heavily wooded area off of mile marker 35 of US 1. It's the exact same spot. She was completely naked, but clothing was found nearby. So all those items that they described her wearing, she wasn't wearing at all. She was completely naked. Wanda was sexually assaulted and beaten, but she was strangled to death with a bikini top. Her clothing and no tan lines indicated she was not from Key West. A day before her discovery, she was seen walking northbound while hitchhiking on US 1 at about 6:30 p.m. There was a sign that she did try to fight back from her attacker, meaning she was trying to defend herself. She was identified in June 2020. Her murder was identified. Okay, so then we're going to move on to this one right here. Florida Keys murder cold case from 1991 solved, and that was today. It became known as the Valentine Jane Doe homicide and was chronicled on Unsolved Mysteries. 3 decades later, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office says it has cracked the cold case. Sheriff Rick Ramsey announced Monday that the previously unknown young woman discovered in on February 15, 1991, in a wooded area off US 1 near mile marker 35, has now been identified as Wanda Deanne Kirkham, who was 18 and lived in Hornell, New York. The sheriff's office said that the killer had been identified as Robert Lynn Bradley, who was killed in a homicide in Texas in April 1992. So that homicide that he got shot in the head a year later, how about that for some quick karma for that guy, huh? Kind of makes you wonder if he's a serial killer, though. Because here's the thing is, any time you have a death like this, the odds are that that person has done it before to somebody else. It's not a one-time deal. And then they're into the serial killer arena at that point. Thanks, Benny! How come the sponsor thing didn't pop up on the in the actual chat itself? Huh. Got to figure that out. And that's him right there. Look at that guy. Bradley's DNA was obtained from the 1991 crime scene in the Keys, the sheriff's office says. The DNA was recently compared to the DNA from the Tarrant County, Texas scene where he was killed and determined to be a match. There's evidence that suggests Bradley lived in Miami in late November 1990. Well, they need to look at any missing women, anywhere around where he lived. The sheriff's office says Kirkham was seen by witnesses hitchhiking out of Key West on February 14th. Her body was found by windsurfers the next morning off a dirt road that led to an area known to the locals as the Horseshoe, east of Big Pine Key and west of Baha'i Honda Key. Kirkham was face down and wearing only a bikini top, so I guess now she wasn't completely nude, with which she had been, well, I guess she was then, because she was strangled with that bikini top, so it wasn't back on her again. Forensic examination determined she had been beaten and sexually assaulted before being strangled to death. It's so great though. So now whoever knew this guy is always going to know. You know, it almost kind of sucks in a way that he died so soon. In that way, so you know, getting shot in the head 3 times was probably pretty merciful. You know, just would have been better if he'd been some other method. You know, like that he had fallen down a hill with no clothes on and had scrapes all over his body, and then he tumbled into a vat of boiling salt water. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at just the absurdity of that whole thing that I just said. But yeah, it probably wouldn't feel good. Instead he got this quick out, you know. Right, you get what I'm saying, right? What? All right. Well, if you guys want to call in, you're free to call in. I'll have the lines open for 10 minutes and nobody calls in, then I'm going to go do something else. There you go. And you can talk about any of these cases. Alright? That's it. But it's not going to be a rambling on festival. I don't do panels, okay? If you continually have something of value, then that'll be cool. Unless we're doing a show where we're just bullshitting. Yeah, we're just talking about the cases we're talking about. I'm only going to stay on till about 10 tonight. It's too slow, putting in that much work. So I just want to... Anything off limits? I don't know. I just don't know. I guess you'll have to risk it and see. Yeah, I'm just so glad all these cases are being solved. It's great. I want to do a show on Alex tomorrow. You know, where people call in and I mean, we go over all the different things that Alex was doing and what kind of a person he was. I'm gonna have to find that what do you call it? His comedy show that he did. I think I'm going to be on a podcast recording with Sheila on Friday. I'm going to have to be looking at this case that she told me about, and then I'm going to be calling in. "919, you're on the air."
Well, hello, Gray Hughes.
What's going on? Who's this?
This is Chrissy.
Oh, what's going on?
Paradis. Sorry, I said I would call, so I thought that I was like, anything off limits? I realized that probably sounded like super creepy the way I said it.
Little bit.
In the chat. Yeah, I felt like, yeah. Like Chris Hansen was going to be like,
yeah,
coming, showing up. But I don't know, I had a couple, okay, so it's not going to be a long thing, just two thoughts. One was about Marina Bischoff disappearance and the police, just the behavior period, about how they said that they were directing everybody to a certain to the missing person. I think is what you said, to the missing persons at first, like department, and then they went on their website and it's like a big headline thing, a statement about it now, blanket statement. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, what was interesting about that?
Just the fact that it seems like once they found those items, that they kind of maybe took it more.
Well, where'd they find them though? Where'd they find them?
I was looking through the statement trying to find that as well, and I can't find find that information, and so I don't really trust the, the chatter that is not, documented, so, like on groups and stuff. Aside from yours, because I trust the Freak Fam, but I feel like it just seems bizarre. Maybe they just knew they should have taken it more seriously from the get-go. So I just wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on that, because it is very bizarre. Just the circumstances alone seem odd.
Well, they just had no evidence. They just didn't have any evidence at the time. She just took off, and they've probably figured she, and then now that they've found those items, it makes it a lot more ominous. Because anybody can be anywhere. They should have probably trusted what people told them, though. Like, something was wrong. Well, I don't know. I mean, was something wrong with her? It sounds like something was wrong with her mentally.
Yeah, and depression is a pretty common thing, and as is fear with the, COVID stay-at-home orders. So it's difficult to know, I think, assess what is to be taken seriously, or seriously to the point of an evaluation, or what that role is. So I mean, it's a difficult position. I don't really know. It's just those were my thoughts about it when you're talking about the case. So thank you for all you do, and keeping us entertained. I appreciate it.
Well, cool. What else you got? Nothing?
Well,
no, I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
Can we? We're doing an Alex Cox show tomorrow, you said?
Probably.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I think it'd be good to kind of go over him.
I'm gonna be ready with that.
Sweet.
I don't know. That one has been on my mind. That has been on my mind so much lately. So, yeah. I don't want to take up. I mean, are there other callers waiting?
Hey, listen, listen, everybody. When you type somebody's name in, don't pretend that you're really in the know. Type in their full name, okay? Okay? Nobody. Oh yeah, we're not going to be doing the abbreviations and shit like that on this channel, okay? That's only for the cool channels. The really cool, neat people. Yeah, so just go ahead and type it in, all right? It's like typing in when people say, this is one of the things I hate the most is when people say LE all the time. It's okay to do that when you're typing. But there's people now that actually say LE out loud. Like they'll say, yeah, I went over, I spoke with LE yesterday, and I'm like, what do you mean LE? What the hell are you talking about? What are you referring to?
That 5-0, yeah.
I even know what they're saying, but I don't want to give them it. You sound like a total moron if you're saying out loud LE, okay? It's a freaking abbreviation typing. It's not like, oh yeah, God, LE said, wow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it doesn't,
which specific LE told you that? Was it just all of law enforcement?
Yeah, well, that's the same thing as even if they typed it in, but it's just, listen, just type in if you want to LE, because it takes a long time to type in law enforcement. But when you say it out loud, just say law enforcement. It literally didn't take you very much longer than just saying LE, okay? Yes, we're not cool, but I'm just joking.
It does. No, I'm saying it does seem awkward. I don't think I've said it. Like, I'm gonna start saying it, because when you said woke earlier, I was like, I'm gonna have to start getting trendier. Like Gray's trendier than I am. I mean, no.
Well, I'd be trendier if I use those terms. I just hear them and know what they mean.
No, you use them like ironically, which is. I will definitely put. If I type LE on the phone if I need to, but yeah, I'm not gonna say. Wow, LE, the LE site, like that. I don't know. It feels.
God, it just sounds so crazy.
For me.
Yeah.
But
could you imagine a conversation with people who just do that all the time? It'd be ridiculous. It'd be like, hey, I was talking to LE, and he told JL that RN was going to, No, you don't have to apologize, Gene. I just didn't know what you meant by. I thought there was a Melanie P that we were just talking about.
Oh, it wasn't a Melanie G, though?
Well, no, she typed in Melanie P for Pulowski.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know.
I was just flipping her
yeah.
crap like I always do. Come on,
I
Jean,
know. I'm
Jesus.
saying we have to be careful right now, right? We don't know if we're being watched. I have to I was about to go get into my closet portal and just,
Well, you are, right? Because you're on your phone. That's the portal.
How did you know? Could you hear?
Yeah.
In the background?
Yep.
You can hear
I figured
that
it
I'm
out.
about to take off. I do picture it like a little rocket ship or something that, that it was like a cardboard box that like a kid would use, like a refrigerator box or something in there, all set to go. And, yeah, I don't know. After I did the last other thing was after the calls and everything, what side did you land on? I feel like you haven't really wavered in your thought and theory, but
on what?
On who the mastermind was between Chad and
I don't know. I'm more. I think Chad was. I think Chad's kind of but I think Lori was too willing to believe what he was saying. But I think Chad basically, he just wanted everything. All the rules that he made are self-serving to his end game, and then Lori was willing to do those things because she actually thought it'd be better too that way, and then she actually made deaths happen. Like Chad would say, he's supposed to die, and then they didn't die right when he said, so then she would go make them happen, which is weird.
So she was just, and it is weird.
But it's weird, but there's still an out. Every time she does that, the out is if she truly believed, like Chad saying, hey, listen, that zombie's going to be dead before he gets back from that trip. Because they believe that he's a zombie, or she does anyway. And then when she doesn't die, he doesn't die, then she goes, well, hell, we'll have to take care of it because he's a zombie. And then Alex kills him, and she doesn't really feel bad. That's why she's smiling. Alex looks kind of normal and relaxed. Because in their minds, I actually think some of that actually is what that means. In their minds, they killed, and they're like they killed a zombie.
It was the kindness that they feel like they were extending a kindness through that act, which is bizarre, but I think she might be that easily influenced.
Yeah, Lori could have hoped he had more money, but I think she left with him because, she didn't think he had more than Charles had. She just believed shit that Charles believed. See, the thing is Charles, she believed the stuff that Chad was saying. So the thing is she liked that stuff. She thought it was really cool, like she was really important. Yep. She became a queen. She was really important in this new group that was forming. But with Charles, she was a stay-at-home mom, just sitting around doing absolutely nothing. Really just taking, like in her mind, she's like, oh, I'm not doing. I happen to think that stay-at-home moms are like they actually work harder than the guys do. The husbands that are out there, heroes. Right? But she probably didn't feel like it made her feel important, right?
Well, she looks like she thinks she's pretty important now. Like in her court appearances in Hawaii, she might not have said a lot, but the words that she said to Nate Eaton in Hawaii, she definitely was digging this paparazzi mode from the look. That's my opinion from the way she looked.
Mm-hmm.
She was smiling and enjoying it, and that's bizarre, but it also kind of goes back to this.
And didn't Chad? But Chad had a pretty good income from his books. It sounded like. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing with his money and everything. But the thing is Chad. Lori may. That could have been part of it too. that she
clout.
thought he was going to have a whole bunch more money, and he even raised the life insurance on Tammy, and that only got him about $430. And I don't know. She didn't seem that pissed about that. They're still holding hands and everything. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very interesting with all of, there were so many good points and thoughts and that were brought up, that, and with Alex as the scapegoat, or the perfect, I hate saying it like that, the perfect fall guy in this scenario and everything, but there were just so many intelligent research, like really thought out opinions. So I didn't know if that had changed anything, the way you thought about it. So
No.
I think that's it. I'm sorry for keeping you for so long.
That's all right. No big deal. It was all right.
Well, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Of course.
All
I'll
right.
be in the chat. Hopefully no one's like trashing me too hard.
Not
right?
too bad.
Freak
It's not too bad.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right. See
Okay.
ya. All right. Bye.
I can handle it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. I'm ending the meeting. That is the only call. Yeah, I definitely want to see the affidavit. I saw an interview that Nate just did. What was the article you're talking about? I didn't see that one. Oh. I don't know. You guys should have make your own show and cover all the articles that you want. It'd be great. This is the one from like 5 hours ago. This one, right? That's the only article I see right there. Nah, forget. I don't really want to look it up right now. I think I'm just gonna end the show. It's what is it? 10 o'clock now. I did get a new driver today. That was pretty cool. I don't think I pulled up the article that you're talking about, though, right? Tish? Is that the one that you... we already talked about that one. That was yesterday. That article that we pulled up. Is there a new one?
Thank you for pulling up the article.
Hold on, let me...
Smiling face.
I didn't see anything about what you said, though. You said it said that... You talking about this one right here? This one right here? Because this is a more recent article here. Thanks, Dish RN and Allison R. You know, some of the mugs that I've sent nurses have been taking a while to get to them. Like one of them, I don't know, it's crazy. I don't know what the hell the deal is there, but... Well, this is the article from... Well, this one's from today, so let's just read it. Chad Daybell plans to plead not guilty to 2 felony counts of concealment or destruction of evidence. In court records filed Monday, Daybell's defense attorney, John Pryor, entered the plea and requested a jury trial. The Rexburg Police Department arrested Daybell Tuesday after investigators excavated a section of his Salem property and discovered the remains of 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow. Yes, he's 7. Somebody said he was 8. And 17-year-old Tylee Ryan. The 2 children disappeared in September 2019, and their mother, Lori Vallow Daybell, is also behind bars in connection to the case. The document announcing Daybell's plea is not the only filing submitted by Pryor on Monday. He also submitted his request for discovery, a standard practice for a defense attorney in preparation for the client's defense. Pryor asked Special Prosecutor Rob Wood for any pertinent statements made by Daybell during the investigation and statements made by a potential co-defendant. Pryor did not return EastIdahoNews.com request for comment. Details surrounding how investigators were led to Daybell's property are unknown. An affidavit of probable cause was sealed by court order because it is necessary to prevent harm to any person or person. Let's see. Details surrounding how investigators were led to Daybell's property are unknown. An affidavit of probable cause was sealed by court order because it is, quote, it is necessary to prevent harm to any person or persons. Yeah, well, maybe they're trying to protect the identity because they're a witness. So that makes you kind of think that it's not a neighbor that just saw a bonfire. It makes you think it's one of the people that the cult would actually, you know, like take out, because a lot of people have been, the way that's written, I don't know if that's standard the way that's written though, so we don't, you know, I don't know that. So if that's standard, then it doesn't mean a damn thing. But because it is necessary, so it's necessary to keep this sealed to prevent harm to any person or persons. Yeah, like somebody inside their circle said something. Now, the only person that I could think that maybe would know would be Melanie Pulowski, right? Like, that's the only person. But my opinion is that the only ones that really knew where the bodies were Alex, Chad, and Lori. But maybe there was somebody else. It seems kind of dumb to let a lot of people know. So I guess it could be a neighbor who's a witness, and you're protecting their identity, because if you let people know, then cult members might take out one of the witnesses, just like a... but there doesn't seem to be a lot of cult members. I think we've already got the kind of the extent of it, right? There's 6 or 7 people. What do you guys think? I don't know. It could be anybody at this point. We're just speculating. Wood noted during Daybell's initial appearance that the concealment of one of the bodies was particularly egregious. And thanks again, Tish RN and Allison R. But what's weird about that, it says the concealment was egregious. Not like, you know, I'm not sure what that means particularly. You know, it's I don't know. Man. Well, thank you. I guess that part was pretty interesting right there. I'll have to speculate on it. I'm sort of in a little bit grumpier today. I had to go and hit golf balls to try to get my new driver, and I had to wear a mask, and it was so, I mean, man, it was just brutal. Like, you can barely breathe in those things for like 10 minutes. But I was hitting balls for, I don't know, 20 minutes with that thing, trying to figure the right one. By the end, I was having a hard time standing up because it was one of those N95s. It wasn't like a nurse mask you could put on, and it's pretty easy just to kind of breathe with. But this is, you know, just the regular mask that you would put on N95 is totally different. You're sort of breathing. It was an N95P, I think, or you have this little filter in the front. No, I always wear a mask. That's not bending to anything. I think people are idiots if you don't wear masks when you're around other people in confined quarters. Yeah. 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 I mean, if you go to the grocery store and you don't wear a mask, you're kind of dumb, you know? Like, just put one on, okay? Even if it's a scarf or something. Yeah. And the thing is, you're just protecting others. Now, if everybody, I think everybody in the country should get like 5 N95 masks and have them always available. Because, I mean, you could actually, nobody would even catch it if you had those on once an outbreak started. Yeah, they're pretty crazy, right? Yeah, I mean, it feels a little bit weird out there with them, but I don't know what you mean, like I bent and wore one. No, I've been wearing one every time I go out since this thing started. You only have 2 cases over there? God, lucky. Yeah, there's upticks everywhere, really. But here's the reality, everybody. We're not shutting the country down again. Okay? That was horrendous. It did save a lot of lives, but what it really destroyed a lot of lives too. Yes, they're still alive, but their life is destroyed. So it's sort of this weird, you know, the suicide rate's going up, all kinds of stuff. I think what it should be is that, you know, if you're over the age of 65, you need to shelter in place. Everyone else wears masks and practices social distancing, but we still work. Okay? Doesn't that just kind of make a little sense? And then, you know, we don't get to go to NBA games. We don't. Like, here's the thing is I don't agree with Trump doing his rally he's going to have here, with everybody just in there like it's a normal day. Why not do it outside or something? You know, having it inside like that is just, you're just asking for a problem. I know that the left didn't give 2 shits when the protesters were out running around all together. They thought it was wonderful what they were doing. Okay? But as soon as Trump does something, it's a big deal. But I agree. I think both are dumb. The protesters and having a rally. I mean, I missed the rallies. They're funny as hell. But the thing is you're going to pack in 20-something thousand people into one spot? I know they're going to test people, like in terms of their temperature, but, you know, the asymptomatic ones are the ones that cause the problems. All right? So I don't agree with it. So there you go. Yeah, you don't want the flu, huh? Yeah, like when I first went to the course today, because this other place I go, we don't wear masks because you're out in the middle of nowhere. I pay over the phone. I go right to the cart, has a key in it. I put my own bag on it, and then we play, and there's just 4 of us, and we. So today I went there and I first went into the clubhouse and, some people didn't have masks, some didn't. And then I realized, screw it. And then I went back and I got the mask and I spent the other 30 minutes with the in 95. I hope I didn't like run into something shitty just in that little bit of time, but there wasn't really many people in there. And everybody working there had masks on. Yeah. Well, Gene, you should get pissed off at the hypocrisy that you must see every single day, okay? So get pissed off at that. Okay, everybody. Well, that's going to be it for me tonight. I appreciate you guys all showing up. What time did I start? 7. Well, I've been on for almost 2.5 hours now. I don't know if I'm going to do the flyby, though. I just want to get off and have a Coke. Have a Coke and a smile. Yeah, no. Thank you guys all for showing up. Let's see. First of all, I want to say thank you to Rachel Ann, Linda Howell, Rochelle Black, Darrell Greggs, Jody William, Chrissy Paradis, Kit Kat, Jay, Miss Skis, Zozo, Kit Kat, Zozo, Allison R, Carolyn T, Lori H, Jessica Schubach, Tish RN, and Allison R. So thank you guys very much. Yeah. All right, so make sure you guys are still wearing your, wear your mask when you can. Wash your hands. Don't eat anything without washing your hands. Try not to touch your face with your hands unless you've washed your hands. It's okay to touch your face after you wash your hands. That's what they don't ever end up telling you. But that's the whole point of what you're washing your hands, so that if you do touch your face, you're not giving germs to yourself. All right? And maintain that social distancing and wear your mask when you go to a grocery store like all smart people do. All right? So thank you guys very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya, gonna snatch ya.
I'm better than you are.
Like an old projector.
Wow, that's mean. You're mean.
Is my nectar. Professor Gray.
Well, you're always mean to me.
Lecture. Crime collector. Freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector. Interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all. Just remember, I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda. I'm a pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
Yay! That was really fun, wasn't it?
Wait, are you talking to me?
Yeah, you, John Boy.
Well, how come you didn't say my name after you said it? I mean, there's a lot of other people watching, too.
Well, no, it's just you and me talking right now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that was fun. All right, so, good night, Mary Lou.
Good night, John Boy. Yay! Boy.
Wow, you're mean.
Those two, boy, they just never go to sleep normally.